Now the next page, and telling to us different varieties of the times are the uncertainties. Furthermore, the moment when any of those numerous different cause of the death might intervene is the entirely unpredictable, and it is like it is the truth. There's many different times, different situations. There's the impermanent, and also it's like different conditions, and to make the cause of impermanence. For example, there's many different examples. Some die in their mother's womb. Absolutely truth. It is not kind of the exaggerations, and many these kind of situations. Some at the birth, just coming out from the mother's womb, and that moment a little bit breathe, but they are passed away. They impermanent arrive. And others before they learn to cravel, or they kind of before just start talking and the working, and then it's certainly some happened, and the time is need to go under the impermanent, and this is also obvious. And compare this kind of numerous condition of example of the impermanent. Of course, we are absolutely. Some die young, other die old. Other is like a decrepit. And it's like someone is like just enough die, old age die. Someone is like completely exhausted, become like same as the Chua and Nyua. Of which language? Again, Chua and this is in like someone's become like completely exhausted, like yak shit, and then they are die. It's completely useless. If they die or be alive, almost it is like same. Better to die because they can to change, but this kind of situations. And some die before they can get medicines. Absolutely, this kind of or the help. And there's even some the cause of the impermanent arrive, and you run to the hospital to get the hospital medicine. The doctors want to give medicine something to saved, but it's between there it's impossible. Someone's like demonstrated them under the impermanent. Others like kind of linger on, and like someone is glued to their bed by the years of the disease. And someone is like sick, absolutely years and years, and it's like on the bed. Sometimes their body is like glued on their bed, and then they can die. This kind of happened. It is not exaggeration. This is like a kind of the obviously. And I met there is one woman, handicapped lady, and she said that is like once I was very much beautiful, and also was married, had 1 or 2 children, and certainly some like food or some disease is become the horrible, and can't move, can't to talk, and it's like this, And you know that we can to see that this our famous science, the Polish guy, what his name is he founded a black hole. And I often watch his stories. And first, he looks like quite a nice, handsome guy. And also he has a girlfriend, and he met a woman, he's married. But then it's certainly some situations changed and then become the horrible life. But also when he become this horrible, like really he's like glued his body on his chair. And how many years, but then finally it's like this. And of course it's like this, the watching the living with the eyes of the dead. By the time they died, they are just skeletons, like kind of wrapped in the skins. It is a truth, someone's like this. And this is just like kind of this is like this. It is why we need to talk about. Of course, we don't need to talk about for us sometimes like to remind it to us. And which kind of cause condition is become the impermanent changing process. And in that perspective, it's like take example I don't know, we can to say ourselves, to tell ourselves, I don't know when I might go under the impermanent, where, why, and which kind of circumstances, I don't know. I need to prepare a little bit about for the impermanent, very, very important. Many people die, certainly, absolutely, it is obvious. We don't know ourselves, and certainly something happened. Who can to help? Nobody's. We need to manage. Before we are this, certainly is the impermanent. Maybe we can to prepare by accident. Of course, it's like this. Many people like something before just the accident, very healthy, happy, driving also very expensive car, and thinking I'm the superiors in this world. Certainly some a little bit condition of movement, accidented, they are disappeared. And who knows ours? Also it's like this kind of conditions. All the time to be attentive and also mindfulness, and need to take care, to prepare, to do some benefit for the impermanent. While the eating, talking, or working, absolutely. And someone is like talking and someone's working. Like it's a very funny things. When you look at the YouTubes, and someone is like in the speech, and talking certainly nice, eloquent kind of speech, but certainly like there's died, and unbelievable things. Someone's like married, they are married and just talking, and then suddenly someone's chops fell into the stage and cannot help and died immediately there. This kind of happened. Who knows? We are not made like different than those human beings. Then of course, but our flesh, our body, and verbs are the same as those like peoples. And in this perspective, it's better to a little bit to prepare. And your life has as a little chance of the enduring as a candle flame in the wind. And also, of course, it is like this, some candle flame to put in the middle of the wind. And then it's like which kind of wind is taking away this candle flame? Eastern, western, south, north. And of course, they are very like dangerous. And like this kind of reality, our life is really life, the candles. The life candle flame in the middle of the circumstances of the impermanent wind. And which kind of, when this happened, we don't know. It is the truth. There is no like kind of the guarantees that death will not suddenly strike right now. Who can to give guarantees? And that tomorrow you will not be reborn as an animal with a horn on its head or the trusk in its the mouth. And this is like kind of the truth. Maybe it's like certainly something happened. Today we are the human beings. And tomorrow what happened? And certainly sometimes reborn very fast. Consciousness is just going out in this body and enter into the sometime. And also our rebirth is, there is a 4 type of the rebirth. Miraculous rebirth, and warmth rebirth, and like kind of the through the egg rebirth, and also a warm rebirth. Maybe warm eggs, and warm like this sort of it's take times. But miraculous rebirth is very fast, very quickly, and it's sometimes it's like when we died, and really it's like this can happen. Immediately it's become sometimes different animals, and they go away. There is one is a family's person, a very evil person. He's died. He all the time killing things. And one Lama is like, this is, if you wanted to know about that, this is this Ponlu Rinpoche, Dzogchen Ponlu Rinpoche, his period life. And they came, their families asked to him, can you make a poa? The Dzogchen Ponlu Rinpoche is a very great poa master. And then he started to make a poa. He says, I can't make poas. Why is it? This your family is just like the separation of your body and his mind, and he became the transformed wolf. And then he went to another place, and he killed one sheep, and then he ran away. Where it is, this one, I cannot to make a poa until this wolf's life is finished, or until there's like the process of the death of this wolf. And then it's immediately they say, really, it is truth. They went to in the one family at the same time as the Ponlo Rinpoche says, went to there, they checked, oh yes, yesterday, and these days, one wolf, very strange wolf came and catched one sheep, killed, and then they run with it. It's sometimes we don't know really. Take rebirth, it's slowly, maybe it's the good things when we are separated, our body and mind. After you go through this intermediate state, pardo. This intermediate state, pardo, is like the between of the really realities. And there's first day, second days, there's like kind of you have the deity appearances. And then is this one we lost, then we go to this last, the pardo of the coming. Then we stayed there sometimes long time, sometimes not necessary. It depends. And then after we are searching for the next destination or next body. And then it's like sometimes like which kind of we don't know. And we need to enter into the mother's womb. Human womb or horse or cow or it's a cat, dog, any kind of animals. And need to like this. There is such a kind of the process, but sometimes they do not need to this process to go to. Even they like a kind of it's a funny things. Before just to the like date process start, maybe also it's like consciousness is maybe already gone. Maybe it's like someone's outer dissolution start. Not yet start inner dissolution, already consciousness is gone. Or maybe it's someone's, the inner is a dissolution start, but not yet secret dissolution start. Then like this consciousness is gone. Because sometimes different like circumstances. And someone is like go all this through process, but sometimes you don't need very fast. And like this, it's like today it's like kind of we are human beings, but impermanent is unpredictable, uncertainties. Something happened, and tomorrow we don't know. We reborn some very strange animals. Tail is like kind of on the near the ear. Ear is near in the ass, and the mouth is I mean, that smile, okay. Who knows this guy? Particularly if you do all the time. Then it's certainly some animals. Are you like to reborn? And okay, do you have some questions?
It's about page 55, paragraph. The before last paragraph. It is written, and you read, until you attain the sublime bodhisattva levels, no appearance, whether good or bad, can ever last. So my question is, what is lasting forever once one attains the sublime bodhisattva's levels?
Until there.
Yes, what remains? What is lasting forever?
First, Bhumi, I told you. When you is like first ordinary way, then it's like you apply your path. When you apply the path, there's the first path. It's a path of the accumulation merit. It has a higher, middle, low, and all during these times, these appearances of the good, bad is uncertainty. Maybe it's possible you are going to up there, but falling down. And also it's like there's many different movement of the appearances, good, bad. And then after you maybe come across this first path, second path is the path of the conjunction. And also this time is the maybe last moment. In the conjunction, path of conjunction, we have the 4 aspects, yes? You studied in your Siddha. I think, yes? Like warmth, pick, forbearance, supreme dharma. When you are like supreme dharma level, and that is almost a guarantee you never return to in the samsaric some appearances. But then is that moment, after the just moment one maybe simultaneously you realize the true natural reality, and that moment like this, then is you reach the level, first level of the supreme bodhisattva levels. Then it's almost a certainty. You choose to going up, never coming, to become same as before. Until there is a good to bad, there's these appearances, it's an uncertainty. And then we need to taking care, we need to have mindfulness.
What is lasting at that time, it's at the time of bodhisattva, or first path, it is a certainty about the true nature of reality.
To realize the true nature of reality.
And this is stable, it is lasting forever.
Then it's like you understood, it's like, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
To achieve. Like this is the same as the one we study the universities. And you study first time it's difficult to, there's many different subjects. And then in the last moment, you go to really to finish it, you can to graduation or not. And then it's like there's a sum in there. And the sum in the you pass exams is really perfect. Then it's like you have warmth, like confidence, definitive. Then it's I can to pass exam, I can to graduate there. And like this, it's like a path and just to coming, and then some in the certain perspective, you have determined mind. Reality is like this. Thank you. Other questions?
So I will try again in English. We've been talking in the course about nature. One day we talk about human nature when we're speaking about evolution, Darwin. This morning we talk about water, the nature of the water. When we do studies, we define, for example, water is the composition of elements. H2O. H2O. Okay. But I don't understand, in the Buddhist perspective, is there any definition of nature? What is something who defines? Because why we can say is this human nature, is this water nature? Because I understood that water has characteristics. Can be dirty, can be clean, can be ice, can be solid, liquid. Yes. But you say it's nature of the water is nature. So what is this definition?
When you are talking about the nature, okay, and maybe you can divide it. There's two different perspectives. Language, ordinary understanding the nature is. We say it's like untalkable, the nature characteristics. It is, for example, in the relatively, okay, as you say, the nature characteristics of the water, nature characteristics of the earth, nature characteristics of the fire, and nature characteristics of human beings, nature characteristics of the horse, cow, sheep, goats, birds, fish, so on. Each individual has nature characteristics. And this nature characteristics is a not definitive nature. And in the Buddhist perspective, we talk about the nature. This is not this nature in the relative nature characteristics. It is the principle, I'm saying. Principle is like each phenomena, okay? Each phenomena itself has the principle nature. It's called the true nature. In the language perspective, this nature characteristics is not true nature. It is relative truth, but it's not absolute to nature. Because it's like this nature characteristics is combined contraction of the different element. It's produced like this. For example, it's like we can say also humans, mind, human body, and the human body itself, this body has some characteristics. Okay, this connection is coming, and the human characteristics. And also billions, trillions human beings, each individual, they have characteristics. Someone is very aggressive, someone is very much compassion, someone's very kind. And then it's like you can say, why? Because this is this person's nature, this person's characteristics. And for example, some science, I told last time, some science before, they searched like human characteristics, nature, okay? Nature characteristics. When they are born, they say you can change by father, mother, by education. But then as they grow up, some in the certain age, maybe it's like 13, 14, 15 years, they say they reached their own nature characteristics. Once they captured, then you can't change. And then forever this person's like this all the times. When this person's very aggressive, all the time is difficult to change. Some persons very kind, gentle, okay, like this. The gentle, compassionate is okay, but some negative persons to change is very difficult. But this is like maybe few years, until few years, science to say like this. But Buddhist perspective is contradicted. Even this one you can to change. Okay? And like a kind of this kind of characteristics, fire is not definitive fire. Fire is characteristics. Fire may be some earth, water, heat, something elements, contractions coming, produce the fire. And then this fire is there, then the fire nature is burning. Like characteristics, it's burn. And if you say it's burned, It is, yes, of course. This is the nature characteristics of the fire is done. Why? Who is like did like this? This is the done, the result of like this. But this is not to nature of the characteristics, okay? Yeah. How is like the nature of like this, as this morning I said, it doesn't matter water, earth, any element, it's like we are divided two, okay? Animate, inanimate, mind, and the materials. And there's a true nature of the realities, it's the same means. For example, mind itself is nature characteristics is like a movement, aggressive or something can't, and this. But this is not the nature of the mind. Nature of the mind itself is, you can't say this and that. For example, now in your now read mind, it itself has a principle mind. This principle from principle mind, alternately positive, negative thoughts is coming. But this one is not fixated. Sometimes they say neutral thoughts, it's almost it. There's one like kind of science or the Buddhist philosophers. They check all our 84,000. This is like a most rough our thoughts. And you analyze, it's like all the times belong the positive or negative, positive, negative theirs. And then it's a very neutral, is rare. Then these positive, negative thoughts, where is it come from? There's a principle, some is a universal. In the Buddhist philosophical, they say it is a primordial wisdom. Primordial is nature. This one is not positive, not negative, not fixated. Because this is not fixated, then your mind is there's a change. Of course, it's like you have positive, but this one you change in negative. Negative also to change the positive. Now it's like kind of this morning I said positive to extend it. We need to more positive movement. This is like our movement perspective, sensual, this principle mind to nature, primordial wisdom. You don't need to change any at all. Primordially is we call the wisdom. It's enlightened. Then it's the fire, earth, water, inanimate, like materials. Also they have the true nature. This true nature is like a kind of not dirty, not clean, not big, not small, nothing fixated. And in this perspective, we can do these things are change whatever you want. And to change big, big change small, small change big, dirty can clean, clean to dirty. Why this? Because the true nature of the phenomena, we can to say. This phenomena is not depends of the dirty or undirty. And we are trying to realize that this ones. And this perspective, then Buddhist says, you can't change. And for example, today it's like I'm an evil person, okay? Criminal, murder, but if I'm a change and to more positive, tomorrow I can to become different way, positive ways. Now it's science, it's truth, they say. Truth, I think it's toward the beginning. There's one science, he analyzed the dog. He has one dog, it's called the Nyoa, okay? And then it's the beginning, my dog Nyoa, and he's look, and he give food. Really, it's you can look in the YouTube or something. And then it's like each moment call the dog's name, Nyoa, and look, and he give food. And certainly he's like habit, this characteristic. And next time, whenever he called the Nyoa, so then he look, and the tears coming. Like tears, the water, because want to eat. And then he did like this many years. Then this dog, this habit, character, nature like this, and then he want to change this one. And next time he called the Nyoa, he looked, and he didn't give food. And a few months, a few years like this one. Then slowly, slowly, water has evaporated. It's when you call and look, but not very much. Yet there's change. Then now this day is like once you say it's really humans, is if you want to change like some persons. It's not necessary to the young adult. Any situations, you are negative person, but if you want to change, there is you can to change them. Sometimes it's like it's out in the human societies, okay? Someone has human qualities. This is what we language perspective, the nature characteristic. Someone's very aggressive. Maybe can you change? How I can to change? This is my nature characters. We don't need to say like this. And okay, yes, maybe if you put progressive like program to like really to each moment, then slowly, it's take times, but you can to become the authentic person. You can to change. Now my answer is like language, general and the relatives nature characteristics, true nature of the character, this is completely different, okay?
So the absolute nature is impermanent?
No, you can't say.
You cannot say.
No, because it's like permanent, impermanent. It's just in the how do you say, the movement. I say it's like, for example, now principle, my mind is there, but this principle, according to this principle, mind is, there is positive, negative, they are coming thoughts. But it's my principle, mind is not both. Permanent, impermanent is just a right from the true nature, but true natures you can't to say the permanent, impermanent. If this true nature is impermanent, it's a died, they finish it. Finish it? No, never. This is the point. When we and this is we need to more to study again and again. Okay, again. Why? Because it's like this kind of image is coming into our mind is very difficult, and therefore we are studying. We need to more and more analyze to check, and therefore we are difficult to realize. Therefore, many people become immediately enlightened. And there is like this principle and the true nature of the realities in our mind, our essential mind, but very difficult to realize it. In the text says our own potential, our own precious, really primordial, our own mind, in here right now, but it's very difficult to, okay, therefore we, like this. Okay, maybe we can go to a little bit more. And this kind of many different perspective of how do you say is the cause of the impermanence. Many people is certainly or by the accident while the eating, talking or working. Some even take their own lives. It is of course it's truth, like someone's make the suicide. And it's sometimes really amazing our human beings. It's inconceivable. Someone says, oh, my life is horrible. I want to make suicide. Many people make the suicide self, like kind of the killing. And it's a little bit, they don't understand, the lack of understanding of the human existence. And our human beings to stay 1 day is possible, 2 days. Why not? For example, one moment you can to generate bodhicitta, how much you destroy the negative deeds, and how much you do the like kind of accumulation. This kind of intention, conduct. And this is one is like if you have a chance to stay in this like few seconds, why not? And to like to stay and to do some positive things. And also when we recognize that the human existence precious this one. And then each moment we are doing something meaningful lives. And in this perspective, it's as long as possible, it is necessary. Of course, if we are all the time a doer of the negative, someone's all the time doing negative, a long life is a little bit kind of the useless. And sometimes says like some is evils, like kind of the criminals. And doing all the time negative, then better to die quickly. Say. Why? Because it's like you all the time is added to negative things. It's not very good. And making problem, family, making problem itself, like this. But it's like take their own life is not necessarily. If you're doing some positive things, today I have, maybe body is difficult to move. but I'm sick. Maybe my sick can give the representative of sentient beings. Now I understand the suffering of the sentient beings. Or maybe I'm suffering because of sickness. Now I understand the suffering of the sickness. Maybe it's like kind of, I'm taking all the sickness. Now may all the sentient beings never sick. Wonderful intention. And this kind of, like you can count to the says how many times I generated bodhicitta. Each moment you think, and how many is like eradicating the negative habitual tendencies. How much we putting into our like kind of the mind. And like this kind of, there is a numerous different death and life circumstances. It is surrounded by the many cause of the death. Your life has little like chance of the candle lamp. This is we already read it. It's like then is tomorrow we don't know which kind of person to be. You should to be quite sure that when you are going to die, it is unpredictable, and that there is no knowing you be born next. Absolutely, we are talking about the next our destination, and like a kind of the different realms, and where is we are going to. That is quite how do you say certainty, and we need to concern that, and if we can to plan, if we can to do right now, maybe it's like to plan. For example, if we have freedoms for the like kind of the maybe minders, say I want to go to there, what I need to there, next like my mother, my father, I want to be reborn as this and that kind of, it is a wonderful, I think everybody can do like this. So nanda tam che zipa. To nini ba da nam pam je te ye ga nan je wallam